On this week's episode of the Why I Create podcast, we have the pleasure of hearing from one of the members of the Greek Brothers band. Their music is very refreshing to listen to and uses instruments that are not common in mainstream music, but honestly maybe should be. Stay tuned to the end to hear their newest release.
Hi, my name is Ed and I live in Northampton, England. I am one half of the music group Greek Brothers. The group comprises of me and my brother Alex, and we've been playing music since we were kids, but it's only really recently that we've done any recording.
Welcome to the podcast. So my first question is, what type of music do you create?
So we make music that's somewhere between folk and pop, and then mixed in with that are Greek sounds and structures and lyrical ideas. And a lot of what we do is based around this mandolin-like Greek instrument called the bouzouki and its smaller relative, the baklama.
What is the most rewarding thing that you have experienced?
Getting played on BBC Radio 6 was definitely a very fun moment for us. And we also won a European songwriting competition a few years back that was quite exciting. Obviously, got to say it, it's the people that you meet and the friendships that you make, which is probably, the most valuable part of all of this. If it wasn't for music, then we wouldn't have met David, and I wouldn't be talking now on this podcast. So I think it's that's far more important than any of the radio play.
How and when did you get started writing music?
So whilst we were both growing up, we had a family restaurant that we'd work in. We'd both be in the kitchen, but then as we got older, we started performing on Friday, Saturday nights. And we'd play a mix of traditional Greek folk with the bouzouki, but then also, Western classic hits with two guitars. And that 50-50 split, I think, in our set is what's led to the sound that we've got now, which incorporates both sides, so the Greek and the Western.
What drives you to keep creating music when it feels like no one is listening?
So this is a really interesting question, and I'd say we make music because we want to, and it's how we like to spend our free time. And we'll do it regardless of whether it gets 10 streams or 10 million streams. For us, the success is really in just making a song that when we listen back to it, we can say, yeah, that sounds like us, and that sounds like what we set out to make. And we try not to get too distracted by what it's doing online.
What is the thing that you are most proud of?
The thing I'm most proud of is probably, I'd say, our latest song, See You in the Morning. It's the first project where I've thought at the end of it, yeah, that does sound like us. And it does represent us both in terms of lyrical content and arrangement and stylings. Aside from that, it's the bouzouki solo for Sotomayor. We were doing a bunch of takes, and I was ready to say, let's just simplify it because it's not working. But Alex said, no, let's keep going. Next take. And he persevered, and eventually we got what's made it to the final version. It was lightning quick. I don't know if we'd ever be able to get as good a take again.
Are you where you want to be, or is there a higher goal?
So right now, we're making music that we enjoy making, and when we put it up online, there seem to be a few people out there that like it too. That's really all we can ask for. That when we make something and then we listen back to it once it's done, it's not making us cringe. And, there are a few people out there that like it too. That's success for us, I think. Anything else that comes beyond that is great. It's a bonus. It's definitely not the goal. So this is our latest song, See You in the Morning. It was inspired by the Tembe train crash, which happened in 2023. It was a train traveling from Athens up to the north of Greece. And partway through the journey, it collided head-on with a freight train, which was traveling on the same side of the track but opposite direction. And 57 people lost their lives. And this song, rather than talk about, the crash itself, it was more about, this idea that the future can really take you by surprise. So this is really focusing on a fictional passenger, reflecting on life, and maybe he feels he hasn't made the most of it. And he's deciding that, he can change all that. But obviously the train he's on is the 7:22 intercity route from Athens to Thessaloniki. So what I really like about what we've done with this is that it can be listened to on two levels. It can be enjoyed as an easy listening song, and it's got that sunny feel to it. But there is that added dimension to the lyrics, with the backdrop of the train crash and knowing, the eventual fate of the character in the song. So in terms of music, we base things around a particular rhythm and styling that was very prominent in Greece in the 50s and 60s. And we kept to the same chords and song structure that we used at the time to create this nostalgic feel. And what I wanted us to achieve was this feeling that you were listening to an authentic Greek song, but with the subtitles on. We wanted it to feel as true as possible to the genre, but at the same time have something that's accessible to non-Greek speakers.
Some days I try, but only ever from a distance. Always too preoccupied with the hand I hadn't won. We go through life not knowing how much further's left before we reach the finish line, and it makes it hard to run. Lucky that I caught the train, the 7:22 intercity route, just in case I get delayed. I'll see you in the morning. Some days I try, but only ever for amusement. Never truly satisfied with the hand I didn't fold. I took the window seat, but failed to pay attention to the changing scenery or the signs of getting old. Lucky that I caught the train, the 7:22 intercity route, just in case I get delayed. I'll see you in the morning. Lucky that I caught the train, the 7:22 intercity route, just in case I get delayed. I'll see you in the morning. Yesterday I felt the change in the pocket of my coat, the money I still owe. I'm sorry that I left it late. I'll see you in the morning.
Thank you so much for listening to the episode, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Huge thanks to Edward from the Greek Brothers for taking the time to be on the podcast. Make sure to go follow them and stream their music. Until next time, David out.